Hello and welcome to another video. So we'll be covering the other first place deck that the Japanese Yurisu guy had taken to the JCG game. He did take Blood himself, which was clearly a good choice because everyone took Blood, because why not right now? Blood is just clearly tier 1 or tier 0 as some people would put it of a deck. So before everyone runs to the comments and is like, Blaze, these decks are complete and utter garbage, you should not play these, they're just so terrible for the meta. Well, guess what? Blood is amazing. It always will be. No. But on a serious note, the nerfs will probably change this up, so don't be surprised in the future. Plus, this deck isn't so bad. It's only got one spawn. It's just got one of those guys. Just one. Okay. So, we have Goblin, Wiseman, and all the standard neutral stuff that makes Neutral Blood so good. Other than that though, it is a triple Phantom Cat Abyss spawn. You're really only using Phantom Cat and Abyss along with the Bahamut just for those little extra pulls, which you will see. There is one great game that I'll be saving for last, so make sure to stay till the end of the video to catch that epic clean sweep of a game. But other than that, there's not too much to say. As you probably know by now, all the Blood decks are pretty similar. They use the same system. You're running early 1 drops, into 2 drops, into 3 drops, and so on, all the way up until about 5, where you drop the Bahamut for the Spawn or Phantom Cat combo. And at the moment, a lot seem to be running Granblue, Near Captain, and Hector as just extra cleanup materials, especially in the mirror matches that work quite well. So we'll get right into it just after this. Okay, so our first matchup is a Blood matchup. I'm guessing a mirror. I would probably be right because, you know, it's a mirror. We get to go first, giving us the advantage and the most likely situation to win. I can't remember whether any of these ones were actually going second or not, or if they're all first, but either way, first, obviously, as hopefully most people know by now, has a much higher win rate no matter what. Actually, I think every deck is negative for going second at the moment, whereas Blood and a couple other decks I think are the only positives going first. So, we have Actress, you know, turn 2 into turn 3 into turn 4. Unfortunately, no turn 1, but this was pretty good. Although Tove being really difficult to deal with when I am mirroring them, fortunately pulling that 2 damage and pretty much forcing the Tove to trade into that Goblin, completely fine in my opinion. Nothing wrong with that kind of trade. Grimnir on the other hand being a complete pain in my back, where Big Knuckle is actually going to be half decent. Killing off the Grim and giving us 3 more damage to their face, dropping them to 15. Pretty nice spot when you're running this deck, honestly. You know, you've got the Hectors, you've got the other cards that really deal a fair amount of damage, that work in your favour. I mean, if you curve out 1, 2, 3, 4, you do pretty well, so as long as you can manage that, you should be right. The only thing to be really careful of is making sure to play Alice when you do have a hand full of neutrals and not just wasting Alice. Sometimes you can bait out, but very rarely that will be the case. So we don't get to see much. We decide to go with the Hector, get rid of this and just ram a little bit more damage to their face. Why not? Plus Hector acts as a nice ward. They do go Bahamut at turn 5, pretty much ideal, honestly. There isn't much that you could ask for when you're playing a Blood deck other than turn 5 Bahamut. Especially if you do get a nice trade as well. Fortunately, I suspect they're running a fairly similar build because I don't believe they push out too hard. If they had have played Spawn and traded here, I'm guessing they didn't want to put themselves in a really bad spot to my damage. I mean, all I would have had to have done is pulled another Hector and they'd be dead. Or a Spawn of my own, I guess, but I can't do that because I didn't have the setup. But we get Phantom Cat instead, which I'm guessing is what they pulled off the Bahamut. So they must have been mirroring me pretty much exactly running another Phantom Cat deck. They do aim for that trade though. So we've only got 5 damage to search out. Unfortunately, we don't find that, and I make the stupid mistake of wasting my evolve here on the Grofmount Near Captain instead of on the Skeeter Abdai. Because that would have survived no matter what, and it would have killed the 7-3. I made the stupid mistake of just playing it that way. Although a 5-7 is nice value, so really it's not that bad. Another unfortunate one though, they get the ideal trades, killing off my entire board and making my life just that much better. Fortunately though, we just get a hand of 1-1s, why not? Let's just summon all the ones. Alrighty, so we flood the board with 1-2, a 2-2, a 1-1, and a 1-2. Honestly, there wasn't much that they could have that would really completely demolish me here. So their trading is pretty predictable. And luckily we do drop the Grimnir, which is a nice card to have in the next turn. Being able to pretty much clear the board. And then kill them. That's the optimal way to do this, honestly. And since it looks like they are completely flooding me right now, along with an actress and a goblin, see, full board flood, all of which have got 4 or less health. Perfect Grimnir fuel. We're just going to devour their board with this Grimnir. Just completely blow it off the board. This also leaves them with, I believe, is it 3 health? Yeah, 3 health. Which is pretty perfect for the Grimnir and Wise Merman combo that I've got coming up next. Luckily their spawn can do pretty much nothing, and they have no way to remove this Grimnir in hand. How fortunate. So, Wise Merman being the end of the game, giving me that 3 damage on my Grimnir. What a fortunate play that is. Even though I stuffed up a little bit, still a nice mirror match. Okay, so our second match is also against Blood. Which is okay, I mean, that's good. But this time we are going second. See, we're going second this time and we still managed to win. Isn't that a bonus? So it's not impossible. So, not too bad a hand, you know. The Wise Merman, Actress Fia, Alice, yep, we curve out pretty nicely. The Tove and the Archer being ideal. We pretty much have what I'd consider a really good hand. Not God hand, trust me, that's coming next, and the next match isn't against Blood, so stay tuned. We'll have that game coming up right after this one. Alrighty, so we easily get the Tove out. We do get rid of the Wires just as a trade. Fortunately, they do Razor, which is kind of unfortunate. I didn't want to really lose that, especially that way. The lucky part, though, is I can easily play the Actress, and then if the Actress gets cleared, that's one thing. If it doesn't, and it survived, I would have been able to evolve and boosted double Alice, boosting all the cards in my hand to a pretty decent level. Luckily, though, they do go for the 3-4 knuckle block, so I cleared my thing, and then I just can play Alice. Boost my hand completely, so that's what, +3/+3 total. Pretty good value, plus a nice little bit of trade. Alrighty, so they go for the turn 5 Bahamut. See, the turn 5 Bahamut is so predictable. If you're playing against Blood, that is the most likely thing someone will do. If you're playing Blood, try and bait it. Like, sure, if you're on a perfect curve, you want to play Bahamut every time, no matter what. But if you can bait that card, and bait any removal and pretend that you're not playing Spawn, that can sometimes be to your advantage. It just depends on the matchup. So they go for the Mountaineer, so it must be another mirror match. These people are really liking these decks lately. So we get the big Knuckle Bodyguard, clears off the Mountaineer, gives us a little bit of damage. I believe we take an Evolve here and we give it to the Goblin Leader just as a little bit of a buffer. Just for that little 4 damage, putting them really close to being dead, especially when Hector not being usable right now just because of not having all of the neutrals you need to activate its effect, but giving it a possibility for the future. So they clear off the 3-4, kind of expected. They want to clear off the goblins as soon as possible. We trade a easy 2-3 trade, get our Hector out, just so we have that ward. I like to create little buffers here and there sometimes of damage, where I can't be easily cleared out. And this sort of board is exact board that you need not to be cleared. So they go for their own Hector, dealing an easy damage, killing off my Hector with their 5 and setting another ward. If they didn't have this extra ward, I would have found it much easier to win the game. Unfortunately, I had to go the roundabout way of doing this, which was kind of depressing, honestly, of ramming multiple things, using my Angel Word, and then hitting their face, lowering them to 3, and putting myself at risk of being killed by things. Nothing that I can think of, but putting my board at risk. Big Knuckle going for its pretty patented kill. And another toe of an actress, so they get another clear, leaving me with 1 thing on board. A 2-2 when they have 2 health. Definitely not the thing you want to leave on board when you've only got 2 health left. So that pretty much gives us the game there. You see, you don't rely on spawn with this deck as much as you'd think, except for the next match, which you'll see is pretty entertaining, at least I thought. Okay, and here we are, the final match against Shadow. So, I hope I hyped this up for you enough, but if you are here right until the end, thanks for coming. Also, this is going to be pretty good. So, we start off with the Skeeter and Hector, which we drop, keeping the Toph because it's ideal. We get a pretty shitty opener, honestly, with the Hector and the Alice. We don't have anything to go with it, which is unfortunate. We are going second, which is also a disadvantage for Blood. But we draw ideally. We go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all perfectly curved. But it does get better as we go on. So, we are pretty obviously going to curve out. We do draw the Big Knuckle, which, if we can't play Alice, is ideal, you know. Big Knuckle Bodyguard, if they somehow clear the board like they are right now, Big Knuckle can fill that gap really, really nicely. Alrighty, so we have the Goblin Leader, obviously, being our next play. That's, you know, pretty simple. We also draw the Bahamut, which opens up an even better turn 5 play, which should open our turn 6 play pretty nicely too. So it's just everything kind of fell into place. All my draws were ideal, all my cards were ideal. Their board stayed reasonably empty. And it just worked. So we drop our Big Knuckle, clearly going for a 2-for-1 with Big Knuckle Bodyguard. Perfect little card, honestly. I love the Big Knuckle Bodyguard. Killing off the 2-1 and the 1-2, sorry, while we're at it. They go for their little Cerberus, which can only really trade if it's evolved, so not a real big threat to me at all. Clearing off the board, setting up for the Baphomet, turn 5. I just couldn't have asked for a better hand, honestly. I've never had this kind of hand before. Like, I've had some good Blood hands in the few games I've played with it. I tend to avoid playing Blood much in this meta. I tend to play Haven or Rune, or even the Shadow decks lately are doing fairly fun, so I try and keep things fresh for me and not play too much of one deck, which is probably why I haven't reached Grandmaster, honestly. But so, as you can probably tell, Spawn of the Abyss turn 6. Can't say no to a perfect Spawn of the Abyss play. Opening up the possibility for 16 damage in the next turn. They go for their Demon Lord, only pulling 3 to my face and setting up a full board. Fortunately though, we have the possibility for a 20 damage lethal next turn. Even though they've only got 19 health, this is easily 20 damage with Phantom Cat. All we need to do was draw 2 neutrals, which with this sort of deck is pretty easy, and then ram them in the face. Pretty easy. So I loved that game. It was a perfect curve. So I would say I really enjoyed playing this, mainly just for that very last game that you saw, playing against the Shadowcraft and just having the perfect curves. The only thing that could have been better would have been Goblin instead of Wise Merman, but it wouldn't have made any difference to the total board state, unfortunately. Although everything else was pretty great, so I enjoyed that. If you are looking for a tournament deck, I would highly recommend this deck at the moment. Obviously nerfs coming soon to a theater near you. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that like button. Check out the deck list in the description below. Make sure to subscribe, and I'll also have the source to this deck below as well. And I'll catch you guys next time. See ya.